Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. The brochure that I'll be going over today was produced for kindergarten teachers and it covers 3 components of literacy. The first one is phonemic awareness, the second phonics, and the third comprehension. I'm going to share 2 activities for each component along with different suggestions to integrate technology and extending learning to the students who have already mastered the skills before their other peers. Starting off, we're going to go over phonemic awareness. The first activity is sound sorting. This activity, students are going to participate in hands-on activities where they will identify and sort pictures and items based on their starting sounds. So this is something that you can say to your students when you're starting the activity. Can anyone identify the beginning sounds of these pictures? Why don't we start grouping the pictures by their starting sounds? Does it start with a C or does it not start with a C? Here we have an example where students will sort items into 2 categories, starting with C or not with C. Students will place the items that start with C sound on the left, which includes the cow, the cactus, the car, the carrot, and the corn. On the right side, the students will then place the items that don't start with the C sound. So we have the duck, the apple, the plane, and the bee. This activity is going to help your students strengthen their phonemic awareness. It helps them break down the word, it helps them pronounce the first part of the word. Moving on to the second activity, and it is going to be rhyming games. We're going to promote a fun environment for our students to explore rhyming words with activities and nursing rhymes. This is going to strengthen our students' ability to detect and produce rhyming words, all while having fun. So this is something that we can tell our students while we're starting the activity. Which words sound like they have the same ending? Why don't we discover rhyming words together? And then if we're moving on, we're going to start talking about incorporating technology into our lessons. And we're going to use phonemic awareness interactive games on our smartboard. So during this game, there's going to be 4 pictures that appear on our smartboard, and students are going to be asked to circle 3 of the pictures on the board that they share the same initial sound. And once they do that, they're going to receive automatic feedback from the game. If we're dealing with any students who have already mastered the skill, they're moving their way forward than all of the peers in the class, we're going to try and challenge them. And the way that we're going to do that is by giving them advanced worksheets without pictures. They are also going to be allowed to play games online that are going to challenge their skills and they're going to bring them forward. We're going to move on to the next topic, which is phonics. And the first activity is going to be Say It, Spin It. So this is Say It, Spin It. I know it's probably the backwards way right now, but with this activity, the students are going to have a chance to spin the wheel at their table. Every table is going to have a wheel and every table is going to have different letters on them. During every student's turn on the wheel, they're going to recite the sound of the word after spinning the wheel, and whatever letter it lands on is what they're going to be reciting to you. So you could say this to your students. When I call your name, you're going to spin the wheel at the table and you're going to share the sounds that the letter makes with the class. Second activity is family word building. During this activity, you and your students will explore word families by focusing on words that rhyme. You can start off by handing out flashcards that have beginning and ending sounds. Students will work together to build real words with these beginning and ending cards. They will work in pairs to write down as many words as possible. They will use their word list and they will press the letters into Play-Doh to build those same words. At the start of our lesson, this is what we can tell our students. You and your partner are going to build words using the 2 piles of note cards. The left pile has word beginnings while the right pile has word endings. Write down as many words as you can come up with on your whiteboard. Once you come up with 6 words, you and your partner will move on to the Play-Doh station where you guys will stamp your words into the Play-Doh. Which set of partners will come up with 5 words the quickest? I can't wait to see who does it the quickest. This is an example of the Play-Doh station that I'll have set up for the children to use. They'll come to the station, grab the letters, make the words by pushing the letters into the Play-Doh. Here you have the word hot. and then the word bag. Once you take out letters, it'll be stamped into the Play-Doh. One way to incorporate technology into your lessons is by incorporating short clips or videos into your lessons that introduce phonics in a fun and memorable way. As for students who master the skill before their peers, I will challenge them by working towards learning long and short vowel sounds. I'm also going to provide worksheets that have misspelled words where they will have to circle the misspelled word and rewrite it correctly. The final component of literacy that we will go over today is comprehension. So, do your students understand what they just read? The first activity for this is called Story Detectives. With this activity, while you guys are reading together as a class, you're going to stop and ask questions. Each student is going to have to be the detective by answering questions about the story that we're reading. Here's an example of what you can say to your students. While we're going to be reading Green Eggs and Ham, we'll say, "Who wants to be my first detective? Do you think the boy is going to eat the green eggs? Do you like eggs? Have you ever eaten ham with your eggs?" Our next activity is called Five-Finger Retell. So with this activity, you're going to read the story together, and then you're going to ask your students at the end to tell you 5 things about the story. And we're going to use our 5 fingers. That's why I'm holding them up. So they're going to tell us about the character, the setting, the events in the story ending, and their favorite thing about the story. So this is what you can tell your students. Who can use their fingers on one of their hands to tell me about the story that we just read? We're going to use our fingers and we're going to tell the class about who was in the story, where the story took place, what happened in the story, what happens at the end of the story, and why don't you share your favorite part of the story? So one way that we can incorporate technology into the lessons of this topic, which is comprehension, is by allowing our students to use an online application. Specifically, we're going to use one that asks our students to rearrange the events that are in the story, and we want them to put them into chronological order. For students who master this skill before their peers, I'm going to challenge them by having them complete ABC sort of quizzes in their reading packets after we read the book. Thanks so much for stopping and watching my video. I hope that this helps you in some sort of way, helps your students, helps you figure out some ways to meet your student halfway, and you have a great day.